Hey guys, welcome to episode 4. In this week's episode, we're going to talk about some pretty heavy topics. Stay tuned. They include mental health, relationships, and some other things like that. We also talk about things we like to do to keep ourselves busy or, move past difficult times in our lives. We also talk about some music that we really enjoy, and we talk about some food. So stick around. Hope you guys enjoy.
What's up, gentlemen? How you doing tonight?
Pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Living the dream. Adam?
Yeah, living, surviving.
Enjoying your chronication, I assume?
Coronication. That's good. I like that one.
That is good.
So what do you got for us tonight there, Eddie?
Okay, so I'm sure a lot of people are fighting. Change the topic.
Hold on.
But,
I lost you there.
I was also talking very quietly.
Okay.
But changing topics from the first time. But so a lot of people probably dealing with this, and I'm sure people who are used to being outside at this time are hitting hard, especially. But mental health.
Okay.
It's a very broad term, I know that, but and I know a lot of people actually still don't believe it's a. And I'm not gonna lie, for a long time I didn't take care of it. It was whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what your guys' views on mental health are. If there's anything you know that can kind of tank your day in the way of the bad.
So before I start, move your mic a tiny bit closer to you, and let me repeat your question. You're saying that like, what can like completely tank our mood, or what?
Well, you first off, and I think we're in agreement with this, but do you believe in?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely a thing.
Okay, like I said, for a long time, I didn't think of it as a viable thing. I always thought people were finding ways to get around why there's such. If that makes sense. I'm gonna sound like an asshole here while saying that, but that's how I thought back.
Okay. Yeah, it's 100% a thing. And I think some people definitely do say that. Oh yeah, I have whatever. My kiddo's back here. Wow. Yeah, you're showing everybody. Did you get that for Easter?
Yeah.
Awesome. I think your mommy wants you. Go on. I definitely think it is a thing that people do, use as a scapegoat, for sure.
Okay.
But I also think that it really does affect people. I mean, it's scientifically proven and all that. And for me personally, I struggled with that a lot actually in college. A lot less so now, still kind of, but not gonna say anything in particular. But just being down a lot, like putting yourself down and like self-doubt and that sort of thing, those kind of lead into it a lot. So like when I was in college, I worked a lot, I had school, and for most of my college career I had a small child. So those sorts of things, whether good or bad, I could have been doing great in school, had a job, I made enough money to do what I needed to do, and still took care of my kid. Whether I'm doing all of those perfectly or not, they can still pull you down. So, and even just thinking to yourself, oh man, I wish I had more time for my kid, or I wish I could do a little bit better in school. Those little self-doubt kind of things definitely do play a part in a lot of this stuff.
Okay.
Particularly, I think in very young adults,
Okay.
people ranging from 17 to their mid to late 20s, or even in your 30s, you could be in a situation where it's like, wow, I really should have my life together more.
Okay.
But it's a hard topic to really pinpoint for a lot of people.
It's so broad too. I think
It really is. It's not quite a this is what I have, this is what I do to fix it, you know. And I think a lot of that is you got to take time for yourself too.
Absolutely.
So like, for me, and maybe opposed or opposite of what a lot of people might be thinking right now, this time of, you know, self-isolation or social distancing or whatever you want to say, kind of helped me a lot. I've had some situations happen, but otherwise, you know, I've had the time to do what I wanted to do, you know, whether it be just sitting and hanging out with you guys, or whether it's, you know, just seeing my family more, spending more time with my daughter, or whatever it is. This time has actually helped me a little bit, you know, like mentally, and
Okay.
you know, just as a whole. Like for a while during the winter, I got kind of down on myself, just being in kind of a rut at work and doing the same thing day in and day out. There's some other factors there, but I won't get into them now.
Okay.
But that sort of thing, you know, this time has really, really helped me. I'm glancing at my kid over there. It's really helped me just kind of refine my path and kind of refocus myself. So,
Okay.
you know, I know for a lot of people this could be a very depressing time, or a very daunting thing to stay away from other people for a long time. But for me, it's kind of been almost therapeutic, but not quite. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Adam, what's your thoughts, man?
I mean, this is something we could do like a 8-part episode on. Like it is a very broad thing, but I guess if we're just trying to break it down to basics, like yeah, it's definitely something that can really like shape somebody if they really let it. Like can really just form an entire other person than what you are. You know, I personally have struggled a lot with mental health problems like my whole life, but I've also seen people, you know, and I can't say like I have any super good reason or super like, oh, my life is so hard or anything. I just have always had issues with just like little things, but I mean, I've seen it change people. You know, that's like one of the roughest things I've like kind of witness in life, I feel like, is like watching people you knew as somebody else kind of get changed and change into someone like that they weren't before because of something that mental health is doing to them, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I don't think enough people really take as serious as it can be. I agree. You know, we can't really know what's going on with any certain one person. So, like, when people say they're going through stuff, you kind of just have to take them at their word on it. At least I try to. But I'm sure there has to be people out there who are just trying to get attention. But I don't ever try to think of it like that, because I just try to think of it as, you know, like you just take them by their word, because if they're saying that and you don't, and you're like, they're just getting attention, and then something happened, I would feel like forever like, well, that's my fault for not like taking that seriously or something. But yeah, I mean, it's way more of a moving thing than people realize, and there are definitely times that are harder than other times in the year. Like Jeremy was saying, this whole quarantine shutdown thing has kind of helped him. In a lot of ways, yeah, it's kind of helped me too, because it does open up a lot more time and create a lot more togetherness, as ironic as that sounds. Like, people have more time. I guess togetherness not in the actual physical sense, but togetherness in the sense that you can communicate with people more because they're, you know, around more, have less things going on. But, you know, in a way, this has definitely been a lot better for me, because I've had more time to do things like this, or to do, you know, like videos or something like that. But it's also been rough in a lot of ways too, because just downtime that I'm not filling with stuff has always like really been where mental health really gets to me. When I have time to really think is like the worst. is
Yeah.
kind of ironic, but that's just always been rough for me.
Yeah, I definitely feel that though. Like before, when I was super super busy all the time, any downtime, it got the wheels spinning. So I feel that for sure. I had another thing and I lost it while I was listening to you.
Now, do you think this whole situation has made the time you do get to spend with like your homies and stuff like that more impactful, almost?
That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I would say. I don't know, because I've always kind of felt like that stuff has been really important and impactful in my life, so I don't want to, like, take away from it any other time, like, as if before all this happened, I would just hang out with people and be like, whatever. I think after it's all over, it will make it a lot more impactful, almost. Because, like, now it's just been like, well, everybody has free time and we're all getting through it together. I think when it goes back to normal, it'll be a lot more like, you'll really appreciate being able to have that kind of stuff, because you never know, we could go through some kind of virus thing where we all have to be quarantined and not be able to do something that you think is just this normal, everyday, like, thing that you should always be able to do.
Going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's simple things like that I agree with you on, that this time will change how I think a lot of people will see their future and, like, not really take for granted as much, like, how much time they do get to spend with people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big... That moving forward, that will be a big contributor on the way people, view their time they spend with other people.
Yeah.
What about you, Eddie? What's your thoughts on all this?
Well, with mental health and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, for a long time I didn't take it serious. Back when I was younger, you guys would know, but a lot of people probably wouldn't know. The woman I bought this house for, her and I are no longer together. And when I look back at it, I was a simp, 100%. People don't know what a simp is. It's somebody who takes all of their time and versus the other person without regard for anyone else. Actually, I almost lost Jeremy as a friend because of it. I lost a lot of friends because of me simping. But after her and I broke up, which was, we were almost a decade together. We had gone through a lot of shit. She helped me through diabetes. She helped me through my parents' divorce. She helped me with a lot of stuff. So whenever that was ripped away from me, I was lost. And I remember there was 2 weeks that I remember specifically where I sat on my couch, listened to sad music on my PlayStation, and just sat there until I went to bed. So it's one of those things that I didn't know what I knew, like, it could be sad and stuff, but I didn't know, like, the effects this stuff had.
Yeah,
So-
later on down the road, it you don't know. You don't know,
Exactly.
especially in your case, where you were with her for so long that those same effects, whether you had been together a couple months or you're in your case quite a while, they're amplified much more the longer you're together and the more time you have spent together. And
Like I said, one of those things I didn't take. Cause
yeah,
as long as she was happy, I was happy.
right.
I was done. And whenever that source of happiness flew away from, I was in a dark spot. You guys remember that time? I was
Oh, yeah.
not a good time.
Oh yeah, I remember, man.
But I'm back now. If anybody cares, I'm good. Big fatty chilling. So, but it's one of those things that they don't teach. Take care of more than just your actual. You need to take care of your head, and you need to take care of your heart. And I know that sounds weird, but it is something that I think should be taught. I mean, I don't want to. And the thing is, I've had to talk about my dad, and he's saying that we're getting weak because he was raised in the generation where men didn't show emotion.
Yeah,
The only emotion you were allowed to show was happiness, and that was it.
yeah. Move your mic a little closer. You're still doing that breaking out.
Is that better?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. I moved it left, forward.
Yeah. It's
right.
when you start talking away, it does it, but otherwise.
This is the direction.
Yeah, so. you like almost have to be speaking. It's like this one, where you have to speak it into it, almost, but you don't want to speak too loudly into it. That's the only thing.
There, I kind of put it more. So.
That's a little better.
But I think that a lot of things can factor in for anyone. This whole communication, giving more people free time. I think exhaustion, sleep level. I mean, just the amount of time you spend on yourself is really the most important factor. This is giving people more time to do that. So, but I think it definitely has played a big part in the way I look at life. Instead, before it was all about her. Now it's about, do I really need to do this? Is this something that'll help me in the long run? Or this is something? But I think that...
Lost the last half of that sentence.
I don't even remember what it was, to be honest.
Is this going to help me in the long road, or...
Or is this just a temporary fix?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah, women.
I mean, on the bright side of it all, man, you wound up with a house for a pretty good price. We won't get into numbers right now, but
$6. I bought $6.
No.
I was gonna say at least 5.
But you wound up with a house. You got your buddies. You got a good job. There's nothing else you can really ask for a situation like you had. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I turned out pretty alright for the amount of shit I went through. And the other thing is, like, when you're in a state like that, you don't really... It's almost like you don't want to help yourself.
Right, you don't.
You'd rather just wallow, which I think is a weird...
Yeah.
It's always something that's bugged me, because I wallowed for a while. But, counteract this, I think we need to start listing off, like, a few things we know when we're starting to get into that, what we can do personally to kind of get us out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know one thing for me is music, my bros. So Adam, what do you do, buddy?
Oh my gosh. Definitely wallow. I mean, like, I'm maybe the worst
to get you out of it, Adam.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, honestly, usually, like, what gets me out of it is, like, enough people like, figuratively slap me in the face and beat the crap out of me until I'm like, okay, like, I'm probably the worst person to be like, oh, this is just what you do, because, like, I mean, Eddie's talking about over here, he's talking about decades of his life that he spent with people, and, like, if we are, like, doing an overview of this past year in my mental health, like, I was with a girl for, like, 4 months, and that relationship came to an abrupt end, and then I was, like, gone for, like, a year. I still am very affected by it. I can't, like, move on or, like, get into other things with other people, really. I'm still, like, very shook and...
You're still
held back
distanced.
by it, but, like, 100%, yeah, because people are just like, hey, dude, why don't you go for this chick? And I'm like, well, because my heart hurts, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
dude, come on, like, so, like, I don't really know the answer. I'm still trying to get there. I try to do as much stuff to just keep busy as I can, I guess, but, like, it took me forever to even get to that point. You know, like, I'm there now, just staying busy, but I can't really name one specific thing.
And that's okay. The time you take to reflect on something like that, it's important. You can't figure out, like, not necessarily what you did wrong, but, like, how can I improve for the next time, or what maybe should I do differently for the next time, whether it be just something different, do something less, do something more, whatever it ends up being. The time to reflect is actually really, really helpful for, I think, all people. You need that self-reflective time to, not just wallow, but, like, you're allowed to be sad. That's perfectly normal.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should ever, take anything too detrimental levels. You know what I mean? Like, don't take things further than they should be. You're allowed to be sad. No one's ever going to tell you you're not allowed to be sad about something like that.
Yeah.
But,
I do get a little bit.
What'd you say, Eddie?
I said he's too cute to be sad.
But other than wallow in your own filth, figuratively, kind of, what do you do to pick yourself up, Adam? Like, anything in particular you like kind of go to try and get yourself out of a funk? Like video games, anything like that at all?
Yeah. Oh, I don't even know, because I stopped that for a while.
Do you have a hobby? Like, I know you do painting and some other art stuff.
That's what a lot of people do say too. Like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you probably just do art when you're upset." I've always been so pushed by emotional connection and, like, specifically like the Romeo type, like stuff for art, like that they've always, like, women have always been like my muse or my inspiration and stuff, that like art is just like gone in those times. Like, I can't like sit down and paint about it, or
I feel it.
That kind of afterward I can, but like this past time I really just embraced as hard as I could just being in a dark spot, and really just tried to do it that way.
Okay.
Really just tried to be like, nah, this is it, this is forever, I am dark now, and eventually it, like, because, trying to fight that really hard sometimes can actually be worse. If you're trying so hard to, like, fight what you're feeling, it can be very back and forth, confusing your own mind, so, I wouldn't suggest that to most people. Like, I wouldn't say, like, oh, well, just be a depressed, little kid for a while. Like,
Well, no, honestly, and what you're saying is true. Sometimes it's better to embrace the dark to find it than rather trying to eliminate the darkness to get to the light.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I definitely agree there.
Exactly.
I definitely agree. So with me, on the other hand, I've had some rough times in my life, like everybody else has. And I usually revert to a few different things. I've got quite a few different hobbies that I usually do.
Okay.
Model making. Specifically, I've done a lot of those metal earths. If anyone's familiar with those, they're like little. You get them. They're usually in metal sheets. I actually have one here in my desk. They're little metal sheets that you bend and usually make things like this here. If we can get a good shot of that.
It does not like the reflection.
No, it does not. That's the really shiny side. This is the not so shiny side, but I'll kind of move it around. You can see there's a couple pieces missing already out of here.
Okay.
Maybe against me it'll be a little better. Not really.
I think we got to see. We got to see it.
Yeah. So this is actually part of a TIE fighter, a Star Wars TIE fighter, and they're just, you bend the metal. They're little super thin sheets of metal, and you bend them, and eventually it builds up and makes some sort of model. Like, I have that one's Star Wars TIE fighter. I have a Model A car. The Eiffel Tower, Big Ben, a TARDIS from Doctor Who, if anyone's familiar with that. Bunch of different things like that. I have quite a few of those. My brother got me. When he was in South Korea, he got me a ancient South Korean warship wooden model. I have yet to put it together, but it looks really cool, and it's going to be, 1.5 feet long or whatever it ends up being.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's this.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it was like $25 over there, which is not too expensive, but it it's from
That's cool.
It's from South Korea, and he brought it over when he came back from there last year. But that's usually what I go to. I do that. I solve Rubik's cubes. That usually is a kind of mindless thing that I can do and not think about anything else. I'm thinking about what do I do next? What's the next move set? That sort of thing. Or play a little guitar, not very much at all. Just kind of screw around. That's about it. Maybe games and music usually helps.
Okay.
Mostly like keeping my hands busy keeps my mind busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can understand that.
That seems to be my tendency, at least with, you know, specifically model making and Rubik's cubes, those two. And you know, Allison has Legos. There they ran. Allison has Legos, and she loves to play Legos. So if I sit down and play Legos with her, you know, it keeps my hands busy and, you know, that sort of thing.
It's actually insane at Rubik's cubes, like not just the like regular. I don't even know.
I will
4x4
through this screen.
5x3.
3 by so this
like,
these
yeah,
are the
like-
3 I've just got sitting on my desk. Like
Exactly.
those are 3 I've got regular. These are just 3x3s that I just have sitting here.
Yeah.
But then I do have, I don't know, 2 dozen more different cubes. Just they're in the third bedroom here. There's tons of different shapes. If you want to see anything cool about Rubik's cubes, look up just strange Rubik cube shapes, and you'll come up with a lot of good ones. Nathan Wilson on YouTube, he mods Rubik's cubes. He cuts them and changes them and makes them into really complex shapes. He's pretty cool. Check him out if you're interested in just seeing some wild stuff.
Okay.
I think that's his last name, Nathan something. I'll put it in the description of this video.
Okay.
Eddie, what are your go-tos there, man?
Mine is definitely music. I like to correct my vibe with vibe making music. That, eating, cooking. Same thing, keep my hands busy. I'm a woodworker, so I do that here and there. Maybe fix my house,
Right.
which is still working on.
That's
You gotta keep. Sometimes it's better to keep your mind off of it. And then sometimes I wallow. I let my brain run thing. I'm very much a learn with my hands type of guy, and I kind of use that same approach with fixing myself, which sounds weird,
not really.
especially out of context. Like my dirty ass went
Well,
something.
Yeah,
But
no, that definitely makes sense. I definitely agree that, you know, keeping your mind busy by keeping your hands busy is kind of the same thing I said.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, just the focus on something else, even if you're not really paying attention, it keeps your mind off of it at least a little bit. You know, you're not fully like self enclosed, I guess. I can't think of the proper term there. But you know, you're not fully enveloped in yourself is what I was trying to say.
So yeah, that's what I kind of do. And if anybody doesn't know, there's now 3 people in my three adult men. So it's very much, we got to keep the vibe right in the house.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
this is all about. For me, it's a lot about how I'm vibing. For people who don't know what vibing are, it's just when you're feeling yourself, when you're loosey goosey, when you scream at the top of your lungs just to scare the shit out of one of your roommates. So, but that's what I like to do. I either wallow, eat, or do something with my hands.
Eat. Yeah, that's a big one. I feel that.
I'm not saying eat yourself into a coma, which I can do.
Eddie, please don't.
diabetes.
Please don't.
But no, and funny enough, most people I know this for a lot of people. Most people don't have an appetite when they get depressed and stuff like that. I still kind of don't, but I know during this time to make myself better, I also healthy. Instead of doing quick pizza and stuff like that, I either Subway or I make something that's super lean, stuff like that. So, and I know it's hard to think about what can better you when you're in that space of I hate life. But if you can try and think about it, it's a good way to kind of help you. And honestly, sometimes, and this is another big thing. 'cause I don't like asking for help. But sometimes help is all you need. Buddy to come over and hang.
Yeah.
Somebody to talk to.
Definitely.
Or even just someone to help fill the background.
Mm-hmm. For
Like a
sure.
party.
Yeah, exactly. Hey. You know what I mean? Yeah, I definitely think that at least having some sort of camaraderie in whatever facet you think is best, whether it just be getting online and talking to someone, or doing what we're doing, having a project that we're all enveloped in and we're all, integral parts of, I think anything at all, even if you just have somebody come over and sit and have coffee with you, and just hang and talk, even if it's not about anything important, if it's just like, hey, when times were normal, did you see the game last night? Or, oh, did you see this new show on TV? Or, whatever it ends up being, any sort of thing like that can be, it can be unbelievable to the person who needs that person to come over and talk to them.
And honestly, and sometimes you may not even realize you're doing it. I'm not
Right.
gonna name
Yeah.
many names. I've had my cousin. She attempted to take her. And it was funny because I was just sitting at home one day and I thought of her and I was like, I haven't talked to her in a while. I'm gonna text her. And lo and behold, I talked her out of it. She is still today with 2 wonderful children because I got the random urge to talk to somebody. So, if you know one of your buddies or somebody you know is kind of feeling down, shoot them a text, shoot them a Snapchat, do whatever. It can honestly help. It can help save lives.
I 100% agree. And if somebody is maybe in a situation like that, it doesn't matter. Just say hey, or you see somebody, it's their birthday on Facebook or whatever. Just throw them a hey, happy birthday. Hope you're doing all right. Stay safe. Whatever it ends up being, that can be super helpful. Even if yeah, it's their birthday. They should be happy, right? But you never know. Or if you just think of somebody, just shoot them and say, hey, I'm thinking of you. Hope you're doing all right. That sort of thing. I definitely think anything like that will definitely help people.
Oh yeah. No, the thing is, I didn't know I did that either for probably 2 to 3 years. It's one of those things that people, especially times now where bullying is so high, even as hell. I bully my little brother still, and he's 22 now. I still bully him to this day. It's not that bad, but it's jousting essentially. Yeah, I beat him every day that you guys caught me.
He's the worst person ever.
But especially with times of bullying, especially in younger kids, sometimes that little bit of hey, how you doing? Been up to anything lately? That can stop a lot of decisions and change the course of that person's life.
Yeah, for sure.
But and I'm gonna change topics here because I feel like I'm starting to get sad, and I don't like that. Fuck. One thing I do want to also talk about, and it's kind of in the same boat, but the friend zone. Everyone knows what the friend zone is.
Oh my god.
Sometimes you put yourself in the friend zone, sometimes you're thrown in. Friend.
Oh boy.
So, I want to know what you guys' thoughts on friend zone first before I say anything else.
Adam, go ahead and start.
What is that word? Wow.
No, I want to hear. I want to hear it from you. I want to hear first.
Oh.
I'll give you.
Here's the problem with me. This isn't like a flex. This isn't like this kind of thing. I always attach at the speed of sound. So like, for those of you who may not know, if you watch this podcast, I was adopted twice. The therapists or people who I've talked to throughout my life say that gives me something called reactive attachment. I don't personally like to use that as like an excuse or like something that causes this. I just think I'm a softie. But, you know, if you want some kind of medical term out there, it's called reactive attachment disorder. You can look up about it. I really have I don't know a lot about it because they'll tell me that and I'll be like, yeah, well, that's just the medical term to be like, yeah, you're a softie. So, I'll, you know, talk to a girl and this isn't just every girl ever, but if it starts to go in that direction, it's just like, marriage, like, and usually it's the girl who's like, let's get married and have kids, and the guy who's like, nah. No, complete opposite for me. If we date for like a month, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the one. Now that's started to have gone away nowadays, especially, you know, how I said I was having trouble connecting again. It's definitely not that anymore because I've talked to people since this past relationship and it just is gone. The whole, like, I have trouble having that at all now.
Okay.
But that was always my problem. So like if it ever went toward friend zone type of way, like, I don't know. I'm usually pretty good at judging too. I think I've only gotten caught in the friend zone like once.
Okay.
So, you know, like, but that's my experience. It's either like just like I'm marrying this person, or it's just like and then I'll just pull back way hard, and then they'll be like, but we were friends, and I'll be like, nah, it's cool, it's fine.
Okay.
I think guys need to chill out and stop being so thirsty.
Yeah.
We're a bunch of assholes, and all we care about is the sexual reproductive organs of women, and we need to just learn a little more about personalities.
Okay. Thanks for your TED Talk.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I definitely think that a lot of people not overthink, but overexpect from a lot of, you know, friendships that turn into, you know, whatever.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people also get the wrong signal a lot of the time. I think,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of that, you know, oh, she's being really, really friendly, or he's being really, really friendly, you know, because it can go both ways, for sure.
It is 2020 also.
Yep, sure is. Been a hell of a year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways.
But, yeah. But I definitely think there's a lot of misreadings and misleadings, too.
Okay.
I think there's, you know, sometimes, you know, a guy might be, you know, a little overly friendly and like kind of flirty or whatever it ends up being, you know, with a girl, or vice versa, a girl with a guy. And I think sometimes those end up being where the missed signals or, you know, crossed signals come from. I think a lot of the time, you know, things... It's all a matter of playing your cards right and really figuring out what the situation is before you take that, you know, leap of faith, or, you know, your thoughts become whatever they are.
Okay.
So I think it's... I also think a lot of people like to play with people. That's also a big thing, you know. I think there's definitely both men and women out there that like to screw with people, and that's not okay.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Sorry, Ed.
Playing with my heart for the past
Whoa!
12 years.
Sorry, man.
I hate it. This is a slow turn.
What? God.
None
Yeah.
of us are gay, just so you
Just-
all know. Like,
You know,
Yeah. Men don't decide until they're 27. It's a proven fact.
weird.
So I could wake up tomorrow and be like, yeah. It's not gonna happen. I know that for a fact, but it's a possibility's there.
Adam's getting up and leaving. Bye,
He's
Adam.
out. Bye, Adam.
See ya, man. Oh, here he comes.
Welcome back.
You all right?
hey, what's up? Yeah, just checking my
What?
Yeah, I'm good.
But
This
no,
took a
Yeah,
it did take a turn.
it took a turn, but that's all right. You know, we're just here to talk and do whatever.
human.
Yeah,
We had to lighten.
yeah, things got a little heavy real quick.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I liked it though. No, I liked it. I thought it was good.
I think relationships are just fucking hard.
They are.
You
They
know,
absolutely are.
no matter what it ends up being, whether you're dating somebody, you're married to someone, or you're just friends with them, and it doesn't matter if, they're who you're sexually attracted to or who you're not. It doesn't matter. All relationships between two people are hard.
Yes.
And every single one has a different dynamic. Like there's a different dynamic between the relationship my brother and I have versus me and Adam, or me and Eddie, versus my kid's mom and I, or my daughter and I, or whoever, or my 5th grade teacher, or whoever. There's all sorts of different relationships, and every single one is different than the next. And
Yeah.
I think that's part of being human, is you got to figure out how
Trying to figure out the relation.
right, and you got to figure out that dynamic, and it changes no matter who you are. All of them are different. You're not going to have the same dynamic between two friends, even if you're in the same friend group. There's going to be a different dynamic between two of you. Like I might have a different dynamic between the both of you. You're different on my other screen now.
Yeah, I get you.
Damn Discord updates. But it's different, and they're hard. That's just what it comes down to. It doesn't matter who.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your past is with that person. It could change on a dime because you said the wrong thing, or did the wrong thing, or didn't do something at all.
Yeah.
It's just
It's all a game of feeling.
It's a game of feelings, and it's a game of just pure luck, basically.
Yeah.
Like, you never know. And you could say the wrong thing, but it might be a normal thing to one person. I might say something that I would normally joke with you or Adam, Eddie, and Adam would take it as a joke, and you would just be having a bad day, and all of a sudden I piss you off, and out the door you walk. You know what I mean?
And everyone has those different days of where they don't want to hear shit about shit from anybody.
Right. Exactly.
Adam's Adam.
Everybody, for sure.
I had a few weeks ago when the whole Chronically went down, and I got booted out to the shop for work. I couldn't give two fucks about anything.
Yeah.
You said hi to me. I thought you looked at me weird. You
Yeah.
get out of here.
Exactly.
So when it comes to the friend zone, for me, I honestly think it's a great. I really do. I think people, like you said, overanalyze it, and maybe sometimes. So I'm getting back to the original question.
No, that's cool. Hey, that's fine.
No, I
No,
was
we
like
conversations
friend zone?
develop. They lead to different places.
Oh yeah, yeah, I got one too.
And honestly, the reason I say this is because, like I said before, I've dated one of Jeremy's sisters before, and honestly, I think if I never would have done that, I would have had a different dynamic with you, Jeremy, because I actually almost lost you as I don't think you realized it, but it was weird for me to bring up about how fucked I was when your sister and I split.
Yeah.
It was just weird. So.
And even before that, I hope you don't mind this. So when you and she had split up before you dated my sister, you and I hadn't talked in quite a while.
Because of her, yes.
Right, and then you and I, you invited me out to lunch one day.
Yeah, because I hadn't seen you.
Right, and then you and I talked about you and Jay.
That lunch, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Then you and I had a lunch, and then we had another lunch, and we talked about you and my sister, and I felt like that brought us back together a lot more than it had, anything else had prior to that. And then, and then after you and my sister split, there was the whole fucking commotion about that. And then, eventually we got back to where we are today,
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, and that's why I say the friend zone should have barriers.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, Adam, I cut you off, but.
No.
And that's why I enjoy it so much. Because it does leave barriers. Because, I mean, there are certain things that you never think would happen. Like, I never in a million years thought I would date you. I mean, she was, 4 years younger than us?
Yeah, she's like 3.5-ish.
Yeah, somewhere around.
Yeah.
So I never in a million years would have thought. So, but I wish, in a little bit of ways, I wish it would have stayed. Like, I don't regret the relationship at all. I had a lot of fun. But the way it ended definitely wasn't ideal.
Right.
It was kind of nasty. It wasn't too bad, but it was. I was being a child. I'll admit to it right now. I was being a child. But and that's the thing is like, since we dated, I lost that friendship with her, and I almost lost the friendship with you too. Would have probably hurt me more. So.
Mm-hmm.
And the other reason I bring up the friend zone is I actually you guys know who she is. Jeremy, you had a fling with her. I'll tell you afterwards, but I don't want to put her name in. I think she listened.
Okay.
But she helped me a lot with the first breakup, and the first like serious breakup. And I fell hard for her. I'm not gonna lie. She knows who I'm talking about. But I'll drop it in Discord for you because I know you both are wondering what's going on. But anyway, I was looking at it the other day, and I'm kind of glad she let me, because she was such an integral part of getting me out of my shit. That if I would have lost her as a friend, I would have. It would have been bad. What? Did it just come up?
I've watched his reaction.
You slash TTS'd it.
Did I?
Yeah, it said it on my computer.
Nice.
Oh,
I
no.
didn't even hear what it said, but I just heard it go, Capitan Diabito says, and then it said a name that I didn't quite catch. Okay.
Sorry, we can blur it out.
We'll mute for about
No, I didn't hear it.
Well,
Only he would hear it.
my
Oh no, the recording.
the audio recording caught it, but we'll
Nice.
Oh.
we'll do a little choppy chop
Just
there.
have a random, like,
Oop, oop, up. Come on. Nope. Jeremy needs a new headset. Someone send me a headset, please.
Yeah,
This
but
thing's
it's
trash.
Are you back now?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
But
But,
yeah,
yeah,
she
like I
helped you a
said-
lot then?
Yeah, she's one of the main reasons I got pulled out of my funk back 2016.
Mm.
And I'm honestly glad, and I haven't talked to her in a while, and I was thinking about it today at work. If people don't know, I spend a lot of time at work, so I have a lot of time just to doing my own shit. So, but if I would have lost her as a friend, I think my life would have been a lot different than. But Adam, sorry, I cut you off earlier. What were you gonna say?
Oh. I mean, it was just an in the moment stupid joke. I mean, but I guess I think what you guys are trying to say is just date your close friend's sisters.
Yep, that's exactly
Nope.
what I'm saying.
Nope.
I can't say that. I can't say that.
Don't do that. Don't ever do that.
It wasn't even. It was a different type of situation, though. It might sound bad to people who are listening, like, whoa, but it's not like.
No, it wasn't.
Not like,
You know.
it wasn't like that. Nah.
My shirt. No, it wasn't bad. Things worked out in the end, so I'm happy. Things are okay. I hope Eddie's okay. Okay.
Tears. Breathing down.
in the end, we're able to sit down and do this, have a good time, make jokes about it, and it's in the past. You can't do anything about the past. You know what I mean? It's there. Remember it, but don't dwell on it. You know what I mean? Your past is your past is what makes you you, and everyone's past looks different than the next, and that makes each person themselves. And
not only that, and this is something my grandfather taught me. Always learn from experience, no matter who, because that will eventually make you better than you are today. That's something that's really impacted me a lot. But honestly, the whole thing was an experience. I learned a lot of stuff from her. I learned a lot of stuff after her and I were a thing. It's just never stop learning. And like you said, don't dwell on the past, but you have to make sure and you can't forget about it. You'll never forget about it. There's nothing you can do to forget about it, other than amnesia. I wouldn't recommend giving yourself amnesia.
Just give yourself. I'm sorry, that's something.
Yeah, it was. He knows, don't you? But
oh my!
Always learn from the past. It'll come to help you in the end. So whatever. What do you think about over there?
He's chuckling about something.
Other than that, it was like so real, and then like there's no way you just forget the past. Other than amnesia. Oh.
All right, boys. Let's turn it up a different level. Let's go into Fat Boy Corner.
Yes! Yes!
Alright, this one isn't a fast food joint this time. This one's an actual restaurant. One of my personal favorites. Applebee's.
Applebee's.
Yes, Applebee's of Apple.
Adam, I swear, this time, if we're the same thing again, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry.
I'll run. I'll get naked.
Alright,
No,
my go-to at Applebee's is the Bourbon Street chicken and shrimp dinner that they have.
Good one.
That is a good one. Yeah.
That's and they've changed it recently. It used to come with like little pan-seared or pan-fried little like
russet potatoes.
Russet or red potatoes. Now it comes with mashed potatoes, and I'm upset with it. They changed it in the last
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, they changed it. Like I went 6 months ago to an Applebee's, and then I went about 3 months later.
Right.
No, you're good, man. I went about 3 months later, and they had changed it. And I was like, why? Come on.
Yeah, the best part about that was getting the juice, rubbing the potatoes.
Oh yeah. That's what I loved, and it's either Chili's or Applebee's that doesn't have Guinness, and I hate that, whichever one it is. I think it's Chili's that doesn't have Guinness.
It's Chili's.
So I usually get a Guinness at Applebee's.
Okay.
That's just what I like to have with dinner.
Do you strive into the dessert at all, or?
Sometimes I get the lava cake thingy.
Okay.
The like
Oh
little,
my god.
the little like fudge cake that pours out fudge. Sometimes I get that. Other times, oh man, sometimes they have pies or something like that. Maybe little cakes. I can't remember exactly what they have.
Well, they have. I know they typically keep the lava cake, the pecan blondie, shooters. The
little. That's it. I get the little shooter thing. Is my other one, but
Have you ever had the triple chocolate meltdown?
I think that's the lava cake thing.
Yeah,
now.
that's the lava cake.
Oh.
But anyways, Adam, what's your go-to?
Oh god, alright, let me just run through some things here. Their breadsticks, great. Boneless wings, also amazing. Their mozzarella sticks, literally I would kill somebody for that. Bourbon steak, chicken and shrimp, freaking amazing. Totally agree. Their chicken tender platter, also amazing. I don't care, I'm 5 years old inside and I will eat that anytime. Their salads are even good. Seafood, I'm okay with their hand-battered fish. You know, not a huge fan of fish, but it's fucking great. classic broccoli and chicken Alfredo, or the 4-cheese mac and cheese with honey pepper chicken tenders. Delicious. Their burgers, the whiskey bacon burger is absolutely incredible.
Please,
but
Adam.
my favorite, I'm gonna have to go with, are you ready for this? And ladies and gentlemen, you might want to have a seat if you're not sitting down already. If you're standing up, I'm literally gonna give you several seconds to sit down. Ready for this? Double glazed baby back ribs. Literally, screw my family out the window. If it was like last meal, but your entire family has to die, fine.
Jesus Christ.
That's a joke. That's a total joke. But holy crap, I'm serious.
Do you have the menu pulled up?
No, gosh, just hold on. Let me just exit. No, I don't have the menu pulled up. You guys are disgusting. You think it's in my favorites tab or something? Because it isn't.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Dude, it actually is.
In your favorites.
Adam, I love you so much, buddy.
Love me too. No, yeah, it's absolutely personal favorite of mine.
I'm crying.
For a drink with the ribs.
Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, it's really whatever pop or lemonade type drink I'm feeling that day. There's nothing really specific. It's kind of like wine pairing there at Applebee's for me. You gotta just get the right. It depends on what the table orders as an overall appetizer.
Okay. So say you get the mozzarella sticks, and then you get your double glazed baby back ribs. What's your drink?
You know,
On a typical day. Like say we're going tonight. What are you getting?
Probably a Sprite.
A
Feels like
Sprite.
a Sprite day. Yeah.
Okay.
I've had lemonade there before, and their lemonade's okay.
They do all the
Lemonade's
specialty
pretty top notch.
lemonades and stuff
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
All right, Eddie, let's hear it.
Okay, so first off, appetizer. This is an easy win for us. It's the pick your three classic trio platter.
Okay.
Always buffalo wing, mozzarella sticks, and typically the brew pub pretzel.
Okay. Yeah,
And
those
then
are good.
what I get for entree, hands down best, shrimp and parmesan.
Lost you there. What was that?
The shrimp and parmesan sirloin.
Okay.
It's just the best because they got that extra butter juice that.
All right.
goes-
What temperature steak?
I prefer a little rarer, maybe a medium to a medium rare. Nothing too bad. I used to be a medium only, but I dipped down a little bit in the temperature wise. Pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then for a drink, if I'm getting alcohol, I'm typically getting a whiskey sour because I do have diabetes, and whiskey sours are kind of like the best drink you get for diabetics. But other than that, I get water because I know if I get anything else, I then have to take more insulin. So it's always a game of how much insulin do I want to take or not take it sometimes in my case. But and then hands down the pecan blondie for dessert, 100%. I take that over anything, any day. It's a classic meal.
So I'll say my definite go-to appetizer, because I didn't get to say an appetizer, 100% the spinach and artichoke dip.
It's a good choice.
100% that every time. Actually, we did that catering thing for my graduation party from college.
Okay.
We got
yes.
we got food from an Applebee's, and actually they took too long to do our food, so they gave it to us for free. And then then they gave us $50 extra worth of vouchers for the next time we needed stuff like that. Yeah, so it was real nice whenever I was graduating college, and we had this big thing. They gave us like a whole quart and a half big tub of the spinach artichoke dip. Oh
Oh my gosh. I need to go eat after this.
Yeah, I've got sausage soup waiting in the other room.
Yeah, I already had dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did I.
Oh, boys. I didn't think Applebee's was that good. I honestly didn't know how much you guys went to Applebee's. I obviously eat out a lot.
Oh my
so.
god. Dude, Applebee's. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't go to Applebee's too often, especially not now. God.
No, obviously, but
I think the last time I was there, I went. It was like December. It was like before Christmas.
okay.
So it's been like 3 or 4 months since I've gone.
Yeah, it got pretty bad for me and William. It got to the point where like we were eating there like 7 to 8 a month.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's
I
not
mean,
bad. That's completely
That's
healthy.
it's like
Well,
2 or 3
that
times a
is-
week.
yeah,
That's
it's
great.
it was bad for
Continue
my
that.
bank account because
Oh,
like
yeah.
William and I are big boys, so like we were dropping probably 60 to 80 a pop.
Yeah.
So
That's
it was bad
rough.
for a while. Yeah.
That's a meal.
Yeah, that's a time we go in. So I mean,
Oh man.
What are those cards they have? Like the VIP cards? Is that for Chili's?
yeah,
I
that's
have no idea.
Jack just got one. He just those like life VIP passes.
I don't.
Oh yeah. No, that's for Chipotle.
What do those do?
Yeah, Chipotle. You
It's
just
essentially a
can
credit
use
card, kind of, but not quite
Yeah.
a credit card. You accumulate points on it, and then you can use those points to pay for meals. And you get lower rates for it and stuff. It's weird.
courage.
So-
Very weird.
So it's just like
They're
any
rare.
other.
You can't just get one if you're a regular person.
Yeah, and then that's the thing.
Like
is
they're
you have to-
handed out specialty, and they have like your name on it, and it's like Jack Dunlop's custom Chipotle life card.
That
It's
that
so
just sounds
awesome.
like a marketing ploy.
it's
If I'm
exactly
being
what it is.
honest,
Yeah,
that's all it
works,
is.
but
It's working
They need to
wonderfully.
make
I've never eaten at a Chipotle.
for
I've
Apple.
never had Chipotle either, and I'm kind of pissed. I've never had Chick-fil-A either.
I've had Chick-fil-A
No!
once. I've had
Yeah, I've never
Chick-fil-A
had Chick-fil-A.
once.
I've had
I don't
Popeyes.
know if I've had
So I'll be a blasphemer right now. Chick-fil-A, meh. It was.
No!
Oh no! Hear me out here. I
Alright.
get it. It's like it's a real chicken breast and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
I get that. So is Wendy's,
I mean, okay. But,
and it's half the price.
okay, now it's
No,
but
dude,
they
dude. Honestly,
specialize in-
so what?
Like,
It's-
what?
McDonald's specializes in burgers.
McDonald's specializes in frozen
Yeah, so what?
guts.
Wendy's is good. Wendy's is fresh meat and it's good.
I don't hate Wendy's. I like Wendy's. I go there often, more than Applebee's, but just because Applebee's is far as crap away from my house.
Really, everything's far away.
Yeah, you're in the middle of nowhere, man.
Yeah,
I mean, we all do.
but
But
I don't know if you guys heard, but a few years ago, there was a talk of them putting it in our area.
a
they
Chick-fil-A.
need to.
No,
Just do it.
A what?
a Sheets, like a.
Oh! I lost you there.
It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, and I'm really glad that didn't happen. Broker and fatter.
Yeah, that was.
So
Oh man, I remember hearing
it was
about
like
that.
junior year for us.
Yeah, I remember that. They also said a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that too. But I'm glad they didn't. But so yeah, Applebee's was a banger. I didn't know you guys liked it that as much. We're gonna have to go out after.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah. So
yeah, we do.
we're gonna have a live sit down episode in somewhere. I'll bring a camera and some mics and set it up, and we're gonna get some looks, but it'll be good.
Applebee's mukbang. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So
Oh man.
I think we can end the episode up with a good talk about music. We may have already talked about it a little bit, but what music do you guys like to use to kind of like either set the vibe for the house, or just in general to make you feel better, or even just because you're hankering for it? Do you have any special songs you'd like to shout out? Any playlists or anything?
It's backwards for everyone watching, but this says iration. This band, if you just need to sit and vibe, this band. They're like a reggae rocky kind of band. They're from California and Hawaii. They're pretty awesome dudes. I've met them live. I had VIP. You can actually see the little tag over here. I had VIP to the last show they were in. That they were in PA. And they're pretty good. I love the song "Stay the Course." If anyone wants to go give that a listen, it's a good song. I like it a lot. Stay the Course. Oh man, I could just list their songs. I have their whole discography on my Spotify, and they got a lot of really, really good songs. A lot of old songs are really, really good still. They've been a band for 15 years or something. They're good. What about you, Adam?
I mean, I don't even care how hard I get. Just absolutely, you know what? I'm not even gonna preface it with that, because even though it's made out around here by my friends to be some horrible curse, the rest of the world knows that this is the way to live. Coldplay. I don't care who you are. Coldplay is, literally changed my life. I have everything on vinyl, everything on CD, so many shirts. I've been to their live. I've
you
cried.
even made a sculpture for him too.
Oh yeah, sculptures, drawings.
Really?
Paintings.
Yeah, that little whale up in the back there.
That's right. That's right. I remember.
From their music video.
Yeah, it's not really coming through. You're pretty pixelated. Yeah, it'll come through in a second. If you leave it alone for a second, it'll come through.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. It's kind of coming through. It's hard to see.
Yeah, I got in contact with the actual artist who worked on the music video with Coldplay and talked to them via email.
Wow.
They've changed my life artistically, musically, womenly. As weird as that sounds, I've had a lot of connection through people with Coldplay. It's just, oh my gosh, man. Yeah, literally forever. Eddie?
Well, I have a whole playlist on Spotify. I listen to everything except everything's on board except for, and I have a whole story
country.
about that.
Yeah. For the audio glitching.
Twice.
Yeah, 2 times in a row.
My computer's censoring me. Nice.
Yeah.
But I have a whole playlist called Slappers, and I know these songs. And like I said, I drive around a lot, so I listen to music all the time. So there's literally, I know what song is coming on after the song I'm listening to, because I've listened to it so many. But I have this whole playlist called Slappers, and one sticks out particularly, and I don't know why, but it does. It's called Sunday Best. Let me see. I don't remember the artist. Give me 1 second. But it's just a good vibe song, and it instantly fixes whatever mood I'm in. On here someplace, I know it is. This thing keeps getting bigger. It's Sunday Best by Services. It's a good song. I recommend listening to it. Like I said, I listen to a lot of different stuff. And then another one that always kind of gets me going is so many picks. But where is it? I just had A Part of Me from Neck. If anyone hasn't listened to Neck Deep, I recommend highly. They're kind of a morph between My Chemical Romance and Blink-182. They're really good.
So that kind of pop punky kind of vibe. Okay.
Oh yeah. Part of Me is definitely my screams. Whenever I hear it, I don't sing it, I scream it.
Yeah.
So, but it's a good one. So.
Another band that I really like, and it's in the same category as the band I mentioned, Iration, is the band Pepper. Pepper. They're a pretty good band. they've got they're a little more on the like harder side of the reggae rocky kind of music. A little more rock, a little less reggae. There's a song called No Control by them.
Okay.
It just gets me going. It gets me kind of just not pumped, but also not like chilled out. It's just a really good, just, you know. Yeah.
It's a jammer. It's a slapper.
Yeah, it makes me lose control. Thanks there, Adam. Like that.
Yeah, I got
That one, and Losing My Mind by Iration is another really, really good one.
Okay.
Not many people listen to it. There's a quote from the song, and I'll tell it to you right now. It's "Losing my mind feels good sometimes," and that has really kind of stuck with me. After the first time I heard it, I was not in quite a good place, and you know, it just kind of made me think like, you know, it's okay. It happens.
yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta cut loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like
Embrace darkness.
whatever's whatever. There you go.
Life's
Oh,
like
man.
a garden. Dig it.
Exactly. So yeah, that's
Nice.
how I've been feeling. This is the two of the bands I've been listening to a lot lately.
Okay.
Are Pepper and Iration. So check them out. See if you like them. If you don't, hey, that's perfectly fine. Same with like Neck Deep that Eddie talked about, and Coldplay. If you guys haven't listened to any other songs other than like Viva La Vida is their really, really big
You've
one.
heard Coldplay for
Yeah,
sure.
like
yeah.
listen to some of their other stuff. I've listened to a good bit of their other stuff. The album that came out, I think right after the Viva La Vida album, whatever, Adam, you would know probably. I don't know
Yeah.
I don't know the name.
Are you,
I don't know that.
oh, what song are you talking about?
I don't know.
You
I
just
listened to
the
that.
actual album?
Yeah, that album. I've listened to songs off that album.
Yeah.
And, I liked it a
I mean,
lot too.
they're all-
Excuse me. No, but yeah.
I thought you were looking
Music's
for a song.
no, I wasn't. I can't pull one out of thin air like that for Coldplay at least. But yeah,
Yeah.
you know, music.
I think it would have been Milo Xyloto. I think came right after.
I think
Vida.
that sounds
Milo
familiar,
Xyloto
but I'm
was
not
a more
exactly
upbeat,
sure.
Like pop album. Hold on.
Okay.
I don't
I'm
know.
almost positive it was.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's Milo Xyloto.
Thanks, Adam.
Should never question my knowledge, but you know.
All right, small flex.
So,
My whole blood flex.
but I think that's a good place to end it up for now. We've been going
Yep.
for about an hour.
Yep, it's
Maybe a little bit over.
Yeah, a little bit over. It's about an hour 15. So,
Just
yeah.
keep
Thanks everybody for tuning in. You know, if you
Real
made it,
quick, though,
oh,
I wanted
Real
to
quick.
put something out. We've been getting some feedback that a lot of people like the name, and
don't.
okay,
That is.
we were just kind of about it. But if you guys have any suggestions, leave it in a comment. Get a hold of us. Anything you maybe think would fit better. We're gonna do some brainstorming ourselves. It may be another few episodes of it, but I think we are gonna change it. We're thinking about it. But if you like it, tell us you like it. We might keep it. I don't know yet. Like I said, if you have any suggestions, leave it in the comments or get a hold of us on socials or something like that. Tags
But if
are
you
always.
hate it, let us know.
Yeah, I mean, if you still like the name, please, you know, let us know why, or you know, probably not really a reason why, but you know, or you know, maybe a way to improve everything in general. Any sort of feedback, whether it be positive or negative, you know, it's still feedback, and we really appreciate it. You know, help us make this show better. Help us, you know, move forward and improve in general, rather than just, you know, specifics. So we really
Yes.
appreciate every single person who comments, who, you know, likes the video, who watches, even if you don't, you know, like or do anything else or subscribe or do any of that other stuff. If you just watch, or you know, you can only watch for a couple minutes and then you got to go do something else, we love that. You know, anything at all is great, and we really do appreciate it. So yeah, if you made it this far, you're awesome. You made it through our TED Talk or whatever we want to call this thing. So thank you very much, everybody. We really, really, really do appreciate it. So have a good day or night or morning or whatever time it is when you're watching this. Have a good one. We'll see you in the next one. Adam, you're missing it. Bye. He's just frozen, just so.